Hi, I'm Random, and this is Sinking Your Fangs into My Heart by Crimson Knight 14. It's a Dream SMP and Minecraft fanfiction with a rating of teen and up audiences and a category of Gen. The archive warnings are graphic depictions of violence. The additional tags are vampires, alternate universe vampire, vampire Phil Watson, vampire Technoblade, vampire Tommy Innit, vampire Wilbur Sitt, human dream, hurt dream, blood drinking, kidnapping, blood, protective Technoblade, protective Phil Watson, angst, fluffin' angst, hurt comfort, scared dream, nice dream, bonding, mind control, blood and injury, dream needs a hug, dream angst, dream and Technoblade friendship, hugs, angel of death Phil Watson, minor character death, hurt Technoblade, good parent Phil Watson, Sleepy Boy Zinka's family, adoption, dream gets a hug, adopted dream. SBA asked if anyone was going to adopt a dream and didn't wait for an answer. The relationships are Dream and Technoblade, Dream and Philza, Technoblade and Philza, Dream and Tommy Innit, Wilbur Sitt and Technoblade and Tommy Innit and Philza, Dream and Wilbur Sitt and Technoblade and Tommy Innit and Philza, Dream and Wilbur Sitt. Chapter 1. I Won't Bite You. If Techno had to rate his experience here so far, he'd give it a 1 out of 5 stars. He's probably being too generous with even giving them a 1 star, but his kidnappers haven't tried to kill him yet, so he supposes they should get at least some kind of positive rating, hence the 1 star. Maybe he'd be willing to give them 1.5 stars if this chair he was tied to had a cushion on it instead of just being hard, uncomfortable wood. But here he is, his limbs having lost feelings in them a while ago. The silver-infused rope around his wrists and ankles slicing into his skin whenever he tries to move them. So, chair time it is for him. It's quite boring. Maybe he should lower his rating even more. Before Techno can dwell on that any longer, the door slides open. The sudden blinding light causing the vampire to hiss in pain as he squeezes his sensitive eyes shut tightly. When the door shuts again, it's accompanied by a timid voice saying, I brought you some blood. So, you can drink from that and, not my neck. Okay? Techno doesn't say anything to that, just tilts his head to the side as he regards this new human. It isn't the person who's been feeding him for however long he's been here now. That person always just threw the bag of blood in his general direction because they were too scared to get closer. But despite the way this human's heart is pounding loudly and fiercely in his chest, something the vampire is acutely aware of with his sensitive hearing, the human still comes closer. Once he's standing right in front of Techno, the vampire casually says, "You know you're close enough that I could bite you, right? I'd really appreciate it if you didn't," the human shakily replies, his words causing Techno to chuckle. Deciding to spare this human, especially since this is the most entertaining thing that's happened during his time of being kidnapped, Techno truthfully says, "Alright, I won't bite you. Can I have some of that blood now?" The human nods his head, then raises a trembling hand so that the bag of blood is in front of the vampire's face. The human is only able to tell where that is from Techno's glowing red eyes. Slowly, as to not startle the human into dropping his food, Techno leans forward as much as the ropes allow, sinking his fangs into the bag and humming softly in bliss as he starts drinking the delicious blood. Once he's drained the bag, Techno leans back as he licks his lips and fangs clean. "Thanks for that. First time I've been fed here." "Wait, what?" the human asks as he takes a few steps back from the vampire, putting some distance between them now that they don't need to be so close. "I thought someone else has been feeding you." "They have," Techno says with a wry smile, "if you count feeding me as throwing the bag somewhere near me because they were too scared to get close. It's like they forgot that I'm tied up here." The human releases a small huff of laughter at that. It's the first sign of something besides fear from him. Techno smiles. Then the human surprises him by saying, "I'll take over feeding duty then. That way you don't have to worry about that person being too scared to feed you." For a few moments, Techno's too stunned to speak, shocked that this human would willingly spend extra time with him just so that he doesn't starve. When he finds his voice again, Techno can't help but say, "That seems like an awful lot of work for some random vampire." "I guess so," the human replies with a shrug of his shoulders. "But vampire or not, it just seems unnecessarily cruel to just let someone starve to death." Techno just hums appreciatively at that, not expecting to be granted this much kindness, but he's gotta admit that it's really nice. "What's your name?" he curiously asks, wanting to put a name to this strange human who keeps surprising him left and right. "Dream," the human says, a small smile heard in his voice. "How about you?" "Technoblade," Techno responds with a smirk, his expression growing into something a bit more cruel and satisfied when the human hastily steps further back from him. "Wait, the Technoblade?" Dream asks in a small, fearful tone, once again stepping away from the vampire. "As in the blood god, Technoblade?" "Yep, that's me," Techno says with his smirk still in place, finding it good to know that even this human is aware of his reputation. "We're fucked," Dream mutters in a terrified tone, his breathing starting to come fast and shaky. "We kidnapped the fucking blood god." "Sure did," Techno agrees, the sound of his voice causing Dream to flinch as he forgot that the vampire was here in his growing panic. "We're fucking dead," Dream says with a loud, hysterical laugh, his hands coming up to fist into his hair and tug harshly. "Your dad is gonna fucking murder us." "That he is," Techno calmly confirms, as if he didn't just tell this poor human that he'll be dying soon. When Dream releases a strangled sob, Techno decides to take pity on him and says, "He won't be killing you though, Dream." Those words startle Dream so much that he's able to push past his panic enough to choke out, "What? Why would he let me live?" "Because I like you," Techno says, as if it's as simple as that. "If I tell him to kill everyone else but you, he'd listen." Dream just laughs bitterly at that. So much pain in his voice as he says, "I'm not worth the trouble. You might as well kill me with everyone else." Before Techno can say anything to that terribly sad statement, Dream abruptly turns his back on the vampire and makes his way towards the door as he says, "I gotta leave so I don't get in trouble. I'll be back again with more blood for you later." "Bye, Dream," Techno says, wishing that the human would have stayed longer, especially since it means that it will be back to just him and this terrible chair. But he's thankful for the fact that Dream will be coming back later. Dream doesn't say anything more to him, just loudly knocks on the door. A few moments later, there's the sound of a lock sliding open, Techno knowing to shut his eyes this time so he isn't blinded by the sudden rush of light again. Then the lock clicks back into place as the door shuts, once again trapping him in this dark room. Now that he's alone, Techno mutters to himself with a small, pleased smile. Well, that was interesting. And the silence settles over the room again. Techno can't help but replay his conversation with Dream again in his head. Techno's gotta admit, he's kinda worried about the whole Dream thinking he should just die with everyone else thing that the humans got going on, but that's fine, he can fix it. Probably. Regardless of what Dream thinks should or shouldn't be done when Phil shows up, Techno knows that he's not letting anything bad happen to him. Not when the human showed him kindness without even knowing who he is. No, nothing bad is going to happen to Dream, not when the human is his now. And the second Phil takes one look at Dream, he's certain that the old man will feel the same, that his adoptometer, or whatever it is that he has, will start going off like crazy, demanding that he take the human home and away from these vampires. So now all he has to do is sit back and wait for Phil to come rescue him and slaughter these vampires in the process. Well, that's that, and I hope you enjoyed. This is my very first video, and I'm very proud of it. Part 2 is linked in the description, and so is proper credit for the images and sound effects used in this video because they aren't mine. I had a lot of fun making this. Bye!